Coming up on the next episode of Zuzu All Grown Up.
The American Dream. Many say it's dead, unreachable, and unimportant.
Look, Daddy, teacher says every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
You're now listening to Zuzu All Grown Up.
She's been featured in more than 20 films from the early days of film and television.
He is a psychotherapist and her loving husband.
Together, they are on a mission to brighten your day and your life.
It's a time to smile, a time to laugh, a time to expect more.
It's time to get inspired with your hosts, Karolyn Grimes and Dr. Brunell.
It's time to meet Zuzu, all grown up.
Do you believe that life is wonderful in principle, but for some reason just isn't so consistently in practice? Every life will have its ups and downs. But have you ever thought that if there were only more people around you encouraging, uplifting, and even inspiring you, then life would be more fulfilling? If only people like George and Mary Bailey were in your inner circle, then life could truly be wonderful all the time? If so, we've got good news for you, because you can find such people on this podcast and at zuzunetwork.com. This podcast is the vision of Karolyn Grimes, Zuzu, and Dr. Brunell, illustrating how the timeless message of It's a Wonderful Life can be and is applied to our modern lives and situations. Indeed, when you take that message to heart, your life will become immeasurably more wonderful. Visit us at zuzunetwork.com and listen to this podcast series to learn more about how. Now sit back, relax, and get ready to enjoy another episode of Zuzu, All Grown Up.
Get ready for miracles. Get ready for Zuzu. All Grown Up.
The guests on today's show are all first-generation immigrants. They're here not just to tell us how they are fulfilling their own American dreams, but how they are helping others, including a very special medical mission that is happening, and about a farm where among the vegetables, hope and love also grows. Kathleen and Reges Magtibay and Dr. Montero of Montero Medical Missions join us shortly on today's episode of Zuzu, All Grown Up.
Well, our guest today will discuss the importance of sharing your resources and expertise with those in need. We want to introduce our guests, Kathleen and her husband, Reges Magtibay, from Georgia Belle Farms, Dr. Juan Montero from Montero Medical Missions is also joining us. So stay with us and welcome to our podcast, everyone. We're looking forward to hearing your stories and hearing how you've joined forces to host a very special event in your community. So let's begin with Kathleen and Reges. Will you share your background and explain what, as immigrants to America, you think about the American dream? How can it be accessed? I know that you used to think this place was apples.
Regis and I immigrated to America with very little in our pockets, but just big dreams. I began my journey cleaning tables at a hotel in Wisconsin, while Regis started as a fast food worker, earning just $2.50 an hour. But through hard work and determination, I pursued master's in finance through a student assistant scholarship, volunteering in various financial offices at University of Baltimore that eventually led to my current role as a director of research administration. So Regis did not have the opportunity to finish college, but he's very hardworking and he advanced from temporary position to a procurement administrator. So Regis, you want to tell them your story about coming to America?
Sure. Yeah. Well, here's my story. I first came to America in the U.S. when I was on a young age. Back then, I had this idea that the U.S. was all about apples. I thought I'd see apple trees on every corner, but Little did I know that instead of picking apples, I'll be working all kinds of jobs just to make ends meet. I started out in fast food, like what Queen said, moved on to detailing cars as my business before, and even spent some time making pizzas. And let me tell you, I had a car, it had a hole in the muffler. So every time I drove it, the inside would fill up with smoke. And what we call it back then, it was like driving a mobile barbecue pit. It was fun. To make a little extra cash, I sold everything from fish to what we call calling cards and even bags of rice straight from the New Jersey port. If there was a way to make a buck, I was on it. The real turning point came when a friend recommended me for a temporary job at the bank. That temporary job turned into a full-time career. And now, in addition to being a farmer at Georgia Belle Farms, I also own and operate a landscaping business. Yes, it's been a wild ride, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. If there's a one thing I've learned, it's that no matter where you start, with a little bit of hustle and a lot of determination, you can end up with some pretty amazing places. And who knows, maybe we will have the entire orchard apple trees at Georgia Belle Farms. Hopefully, yeah.
So how did you decide to have an organic farm that would become a central point in your community? And please begin by sharing how the farm has become more than just a business, but a platform for community building, kindness, and inspiration.
I was born and raised on a farm, so I've always felt a natural connection to farms. Farming was a way of life for my family, and those early experiences at a farm really created a lasting impression on me. So after immigrating to the US, I still felt that pull towards farming. Regis and I was in our very early stage of our marriage. We used to volunteer for a big Maryland farm that donates 100% of their harvest to underserved communities. So that really inspired us because we saw the sense of community and purpose that happened there, and seeing people come together to work towards like a common goal really touched our hearts. So that's why we started dreaming about owning a farm one day. But, it took us many, many years. It took us a decade to buy a farm. But last year, May of 2023, we opened our farm store. Because we met a lot of people there, we were able to start all of these little kindness efforts. So I guess I'd start with sharing our surplus produce to the local churches and local pantries. So what we do is that every week we select I went on Facebook and I asked everyone for input regarding local pantries and local churches that probably need surplus produce from Georgia Belle. And people had so many recommendations. So I just go off that list and I pick and I try to contact local pantries every week. And then we just give them any surplus produce that we have at the farm store. And I think that's a testament. It supports our core values that food shouldn't be wasted. So there's really no waste at Georgia Belle Farm. Either our animals eat them or other people eat our surplus produce.
It's interesting to know how your farm has become like a community hub, for the small businesses in your farm store. And also how many small businesses share your space for the produce, and does it cost them a fee to participate?
So currently we don't have a lot, but we have had say four small businesses set up at our farm store. We decided to offer the free space to these small business owners, especially the ones who makes arts and crafts and bakes at home, those businesses who doesn't have a platform to sell crafts and their baked goods. It's just a way for us to give them a leg up. It's free. They don't have to pay us anything. Yeah, it's free.
So what kind of training do you provide for the members of your local ARC? And can you share what that is, to assist you and the farm and other activities?
Our collaboration with ARC started when a volunteer mom reached out to me about the possibility of having her son work at the farm. So what happened was she was looking for a place for his son to work. His son has developmental disabilities, and she couldn't find a place where she could feel secure for her son. She and her son was already volunteering at the farm sometimes, just so the son can experience farm work. So we decided, okay, we're going to work with ARC. They provide safe and supported place for first job experiences for teens with disabilities. They also focus on advocacy and education, helping individuals navigate challenges in education and employment. So we said yes right away. When they came to us, we said, yes, we would be happy to host, and we would be happy to be the place of employment for this teenager who had disabilities. And we hope to continue doing that. This is just very new. They came to us this summer.
So what is like on the farm?
We don't look at it as some work because in our community as a farm, we are so blessed that a lot of our neighbors and people in our community help us a lot. Especially they volunteer. They volunteer to take care of animals one day. What we call it is community gathering for that farm. And we want it to be part of that. We want to make it as a life. I would say it that way.
Yeah, it's not hard because of the people that surrounds us, because of the people who support us and continue to encourage us to do big things. It's not hard work. When you focus on the bigger purpose, you feel determined, you feel encouraged all the time.
Through our podcast, we share stories of kindness and the importance of giving back to your community. Can you share how your work at the farm and with Dr. Montero's medical mission benefits your community?
I must say, the kindness efforts that we do compared to the efforts that Dr. Montero is doing at Montero Medical Mission is at a micro level. Dr. Montero, I think it's a lot better for you to talk about your organization, but when we first reached out to Dr. Montero, our goal was to be a part of his organization. We have space, so why not provide the space to him?
Along with the farm store, you have a robust connection with your Filipino community. What community events and outreach do you provide? And will you share a few testimonials from those who have benefited from being inspired by these initiatives?
We get reached out all the time. I mean, I believe our impact in the community is still at the micro level, but many people have reached out to us already, sharing how inspired they are by our story. They ask us for advice on growing their businesses or how to become a realtor, because I'm also a realtor. I don't think it's because they see us as experts, but because they can relate to our story. They can relate to our journey of starting with very little, starting from the bottom and achieving the dream that we wanted. So not because we're expert, not because we're known in the community. I think because they can relate to us.
We'll join Karolyn and Chris in just a moment with more of Zuzu All Grown Up.
First, an important message.
She didn't just visit the sick and poor. She moved in with them. It wasn't convenient and it wasn't pretty, but they needed help. 12 more then joined this saint of the gutters. They were soon followed by over 4,000 other nuns who gave healing care in orphanages, AIDS hospices, and charity centers. Mother Teresa couldn't do it all, but she gave her all. Compassion is in you. Now pass it on from passiton.com.
Start your morning right with premium coffee roasts available at ZuzuNetwork.com and drink them in your Zuzu All Grown Up coffee mug. Also perfect for tea and hot chocolate.
Stay inspired throughout the day with the same gratitude journal used by Karolyn and Chris, and check out t-shirts, hats, books, Christmas keepsakes, and more at zuzunetwork.com/shop.
Are you wondering whether to sell or donate the car you no longer need or want? Consider that. Donating it to a legitimate, legally recognized nonprofit organization, not only will you receive a tax deduction, but you'll be contributing to a worthy cause. Finding a worthy nonprofit organization can be time-consuming and even a bit stressful. I'm here to present to you one of the most amazing, legitimate 501c3 nonprofit organizations in the world. The United Breast Cancer Foundation. The UBCF provides screenings, treatments, aftercare services, educational materials, as well as patient and family assistance. We ask that you help in that mission by donating your unwanted or unused vehicle to the UBCF. Simply call 888-842-5505. The process is fast and easy. Call 888-842-5505. 888-842-5505. Help us in our mission and get a tax deduction. Call 888-842-5505. Thank you for your support.
Join Zuzu's network today at zuzunetwork.com/join.
Karolyn is creating an international network of aspiring angels, everyday people who believe that they can help make the world a better place by making life better for even just one other person.
Let us know you want to earn your wings at zuzunetwork.com/join, and Karolyn and Chris will send you inspirational material to support you in your journey.
We're back with more Zuzu All Grown Up.
In addition to your outreach, you're now working with Dr. Montero and his medical mission. Will you share your plans to host an event at your farm with Dr. Montero?
I feel like I am the luckiest person right now in this chat, and I really do thank you for your hosting us. We are looking forward to that. I happen to be a good friend of the lady that introduced me to this wonderful couple. And this is a very innovative situation that we will do in October, when Kathleen and Reges told me that they will have a medical mission type thing, which I will consider like a health fair and screening of, for people that may need just for that. And I told them right away that, yes, this is what we do, mission work all over the world. We have 10 sustainable projects now. We've been from around the world, really. I just came back from the Philippines and Uganda. So we would like to be part of that health screening that they will host on October 26th. That's a Saturday. And I hope to see all of you here too, over there. And I'm just very fortunate to come to America in 1966, pursued my training in general and thoracic surgery, retired in 2007, and continued work on mission medical mission thing, which had started since 1981. So over every year, I've just been continuing to do it, having fun, because to me, fun is integral in what we do for sustainability. Mm-hmm. So thank you so much for this invitation, indeed, and we look forward to that day. Yes, we're excited about that.
You do so much for countries that probably a lot of the people can't afford to take care of themselves.
Because of I've been very fortunate to be exposed to as many expatriate physicians and allied health professionals in this country. When my boss, my mentor, my associate in practice took me under his wings, and then he became president of the American Medical Association in 1987-88. So with those, our biggest asset of this organization of Montero Medical Missions, which is just 13 years old, but I've been associated with other organizations like Physicians for Peace, which I put together in the Philippines, and up to now that's still existing. And so with that exposure that I have, I could create a medical mission anywhere in the world, get those doctors or nurses or allied health professionals from those countries. Magtibays family is doing here. Giving back has been my passion over the years. In fact, the American College of Surgeons, bragging a little bit, made me an inaugural recipient of the Surgical Volunteerism Award as a co-recipient. So with the greatness of America, I continue to give back for what it has accorded me. We combine the work of a medical missionary and that of a Peace Corps volunteer in the concept of Montero Medical Missions. Here we have one domestic project solely to help our veterans suffering from traumatic brain injury, PTSD, opioid addiction. That's why we have that partnership camp clinic in Talkeetna, Alaska, 640 acres with the battle dogs to treat these people, starting now with naturopathy. And then eventually we will add hyperbaric oxygen therapy and Western medicine and Eastern medicine. But here in Chesapeake, Virginia, we're helping them with their dental care because you have to have 100% disability to avail of dental care at the VA. And that's what we try to do to help the best we could.
How do you select where your mission work will lead you, and how do you recruit others to join you on your journey?
Well, again, with our contacts, that's our biggest asset. We do not. We're the least funded organization, believe it or not. We are hand to mouth.
Oh, really?
Really. We just have to, and we never had any fundraiser. I mean, any grant money, no grant money whatsoever yet. It's all personal things, volunteer work, and we never had any salaried employee, really. That's why we are hand to mouth. But yes, we had been to Mongolia, China, Sri Lanka, Cape Verde Islands, Uganda, St. Lucia, Ghana, even Peru, mostly in the Philippines. That's we would like to have presence in all 6 continents one of these days. So stay tuned.
So what inspires you the most with this important work that you do?
Well, it was, I guess, just inherent in my psyche that as a physician, I would like to help people any way I can, which started in the Philippines, helping all those folks out there, not asking for any money. And then when I left, they grabbed me, my hand, stick in there a few pesos, etc. So when I came to America in 1966, I had 750 pesos, which was then at the exchange at that time was worth $150.
What seems to be the greatest need for health services where you have been, and what's the response from the people that you provide services for, like dental, hearing, vision, and prostheses fittings?
Well, I tell you, it's hard to describe when people have this greatest smiles and then many of them with tears in their eyes. I'm used to that because in 1992, I founded Chesapeake Care Clinic, which up to this time, one of the most, if not the most comprehensive free clinic in America, right here in Chesapeake. I was interviewed by the Voice of America journalist in September of 2019.
What can you share about an initiative with the United Community Solutions Counseling Services Behavioral Health Initiative to help curb gun violence, and where would that occur?
Well, let me tell you, it was April 1st. We put it in April Fool's Day because if this fails, at least we know we were just fooling them. We created this innovative project. Instead of using the word mental health global, because that's the name of our project originally, we will call it now behavioral health global. So we then, for my advice from psychiatrists and psychologists, social workers, and counseling service organizations, their advice that we should create really consortium of all these professionals that Montero Medical Missions, United Community Solutions, Counseling Service partnering. Chesapeake Care Clinic is really our wild card. We want this project to be a model in Hampton Roads and Virginia and throughout the country by involving all those professionals and the city and the hospital here, Chesapeake Regional Medical Center, where they have the psychiatric beds. We have this emergency number to call, 788, if there is someone that may be suicidal or something like that, because this is a terrible problem right now in our country because of drugs, all the things that's happening, crime, etc. And especially our veterans, homeless veterans. They have all the suicide average of what, about 20, 22 a day? Now think about that. I mean, it's untenable, really. So we are looking forward to this. So stay tuned again too, because it's just what, from April to now, it's just about a few months old. But yes, it looks like everybody is helping out, and you will hear more about this in the near future.
Well, Dr. Montero, what is Montero Medical Mission Friendship Club, and how will the club promote service in the world?
Well, I thought about my good friend, the McGee's, Dr. McGee and his wife, Kathy, of Operation Smile, Bill McGee. They have these happy clubs, that they create in high schools. So I thought, hopefully this year, this school year, we can start. In fact, Kathleen, that's smiling now. Hopefully in their area there, the high school could start friendship clubs. I call it friendship because what Montero does all over the world is to win friends and influence people.
We'll join Karolyn and Chris in just a moment with more of Zuzu All Grown Up.
First, an important message.
To find out more about the organization featured in today's episode or a previous episode, and to learn more about how you can help, go to zuzunetwork.com/beanangel.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I lack a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Zuzu's book club features recommendations from Zuzu herself on books she loves and thinks you will love also. All of the books that the club reads, fiction and nonfiction, are inspirational and uplifting. Folks, this is a life-enhancing club to be part of. You can sign up for free at zuzunetwork.com/book club. That's zuzunetwork.com/book club.
This is an important announcement for anyone who wants health insurance, even if you missed the deadline. Right now, you can get the health insurance you and your family need from top insurance providers, even if you have pre-existing conditions or no insurance at all. The Plus Benefits Health Insurance toll-free number has been extended to help anyone who wants health insurance coverage now, or if you need a better plan or a lower price. Call Plus Benefits Health Insurance now at 800-332-1993. The call is 100% free and the help is real. Call 800-332-1993. That's 800-332-1993.
Imagine having all the money you need for retirement, all the income, every month, guaranteed. That's Secure Future Investor, an indexed annuity tied to growth in the stock market, but without any risk of loss ever. It's guaranteed money for life income, no matter how long you live. Call 888-288-7088, 888-288-7088. Sponsored by GP Agency, Inc., Raleigh, NC. Licensed in all states. Performance may vary. Consult your financial professional before making an investment decision.
This is Zuzu, All Grown Up.
And so I call it, everywhere I go now, I always go for the highest ranking government officials, especially in the healthcare department, and so that we can continue to work together, make our projects easier to implement. So the friendship clubs hopefully will really get a foothold here in our region and then all over the country, so that students will have in their minds, because they could be the great ambassador really for Uncle Sam. Many people, many students right now wanting to do mission work all over the world, and it's about time. With the technology availability now and all the stuff, people should be friendly. People should be seeing each other, touching hands. It's time that we all should get together as often as possible, communicate, etc. And that's the purpose of that. Friendship clubs as they grow up. Hopefully in colleges too, we can do it.
Love it. So earlier we asked Kathleen and Regis on their take on the American dream. You've been here since the 1960s. Can you provide us your take and tell us more about what it means for you to have fulfilled yours?
To make sure that I can compete, because the word that I always use with my 4 sons growing up was the word compete. That's when I asked them, are you still competing? Compete in education, their grades. Are you still competing in their leadership? Or are you still competing in the number of girlfriends? Those are 3 things I asked them to keep them posted.
I have to really admire all the very, very ambitious work that you're doing to make the world a better place, by providing medical care in so many places. That to me is a great aspiration that I think.
So maybe he's
we
an
need to be.
angel among us?
Yes, he is, but he takes orders well.
But that's only in America. It can only happen in America.
Well, Dr. Montero, Kathleen and Regis, what do you see as the future of your collaborating mission work together? Also, if anyone's interested in learning about Georgia Belle Farms and Montero Medical Missions, where do they go for more information?
I'd like to have the medical mission as an annual thing. Hopefully, with Dr. Montero's permission, we could do this more often every year so we can reach out to a lot more people in the community. This year, we are hoping to invite a lot of our senior customers at the farm store. And I know the challenge that they experience in terms of healthcare. So hopefully we can continue on doing this on a yearly basis.
Question for Regis.
What kind of car do you drive, Regis?
Fancier car drive now is the truck that I use for landscaping. I still use, the car that I inherit from my uncle. This is a 1994 RAV4. So it's still driving an old car till now.
Where can people go again for more information if they want to find out about the farms and how they can help?
Yeah, they can click into our website, monteromedicalmissions.org. They can call me straight through my personal cell phone, 757-275-3642. I will entertain any questions that they may have. Like I said, I welcome everyone to join us in mission work. But one thing they should remember, being a Montero means that they have to be tough. We cannot tolerate mediocrity in this organization. Montero means a mountaineer. Montero means a horseman. So that's why Mitsubishi adopted that name, Montero, in their SUV, because they know that it's a tough car.
Let's give that website out again. MONTEROMEDICALMISSIONS.org.
Perfect.
So if anybody wants to contact you or find out more information about the program, they can check that.
My cell, it's also in there, info@monteromedicalmissions.org.
And then we also have Georgia Belle Farms at info@georgiabellefarms.com. And Belle is with an E on the end of it.
We are also, I just wanted to mention that we are also on Facebook. You can just type in Georgia Belle Farms in the search box, or you can reach out to me directly. My number is 443-813-3341. And just to repeat, our email address is info@georgiabellefarms.com.
That's great. One more question. Where does the name Georgia Belle come from?
It was a street that we lived in, and we couldn't farm there. So we brought the name to the farm. So we moved it. We moved the name to the actual farm where we can actually raise chickens.
We tested and we started in the HOA community. If we end up, we can't farm as much, or we can't face animals in the HOA community.
Yeah.
And so what we did is we need to buy the farm and move the name to the farm. So that's where it ended up.
Yeah.
It's the Georgia Belle Farms is the street name or previous address.
Yeah.
I see.
I love it.
Well, that's really unique.
I work as a clinical psychologist, and when Dr. Montero, when you're talking about the PTSD program up in Alaska, I thought, oh my goodness, that would be something I'd be interested in doing. And I guess the question I have for you is if there are people that want to talk to you about possibly helping out in the cause, could we just reach out to you about that?
Yes, sir. Anytime.
Okay.
24/7.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us today. And I'm sure our listeners enjoyed listening to your stories. They found out a lot of information because we want to try to help the world be a better place. And you guys certainly are doing that.
Yes.
So
We'll create something in this partnership so that we can have a future podcast again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds wonderful.
That'd be
We love
great.
it.
Do you know someone who is earning their wings? Someone practicing kindness and service to others? Perhaps an organization or initiative helping make the world we live in a kinder, sweeter place.
Or maybe you've witnessed the miraculous, the divine, the magnificent in some way in your life and you'd like to share it with others. Go to zuzunetwork.com/tellmystory and let us know more.
You may end up being featured on an upcoming episode of Zuzu All Grown Up. That's zuzunetwork.com/tellmystory. Now here's Seth Kennedy with today's parting thoughts.
If you're listening to today's podcast and you need or know someone who needs the kind of medical help that Montero Medical Missions provides, you can go to www.monteromedicalmissions.org. That's www.monteromedicalmissions.org to find out about upcoming events. For those in the Maryland area, an event will be held this October 26, 2024 at the Georgia Belle Farms.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Zuzu All Grown Up.
We hope you've been inspired to live your most wonderful life now and to help those around you do the same.
Remember, no matter what you're going through, no matter who you are, there are people who care about you and your life makes a difference.
It is a wonderful life.
Check out zuzunetwork.com for more on today's and other episodes, including transcripts and merchandise you won't want to be without.
New episodes are coming soon.
For transcripts of today's broadcast, go to zuzunetwork.com/transcripts. Zuzu All Grown Up with your hosts Karolyn Grimes and Dr. Chris Brunell.
Announcer and guide Seth Kennedy.
Executive producer Kevin R. Stillmock.
Coordinating producer Holly Ann Way.
Technical producer Stella Joelle.
A Wonderful Land production.
In collaboration with Radio Wonderful.